Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. The day started out slow. I didn't think we were going to have a very good day at all. Um, just didn't seem like anything was moving this morning. But it turned out to be a pretty good day after all. So I'm going to go over my trades that I took today. PRGO. This was the first one. And let me go back real quick. Let me show you what I was looking at. Um, when I first wake up in the morning and cut on my platform before I even go to the gym, I look at what the futures did the night before, the S&P 500 E-mini futures. And basically what it did, whatever it does, kind of gives me an idea of what to expect that day. So as you can see, it sold off a little bit last night before we went to bed. So I'm thinking, when I went to bed last night, I was thinking that the market's probably going to sell off again today. But when I looked at it this morning, about 6, this held. This level right here held. And we were still teetering around the VWAP. So when I came back from the gym, I looked and we were claiming the VWAP. We were about to take out the 200 here. So I thought, well, maybe the market's going to turn around. Maybe we're going to recover some today. So I said, probably don't need to look short. And, once I come back, I look at that and I look at the SPY, because I try not to go in the opposite direction of the SPY. And, just like the futures and the SPY pretty much mirror each other, but the SPY just doesn't trade all night. So that's why I look at the futures, starting, the night before. And you can see, and I said to myself, no long trades, because the SPY looks like it's going to be trending up. It's above the VWAP. But I saw it hit here, and I was like, well, yeah, it's probably going to reject. And this rejection is what triggered me to take this trade in PRGO. And PRGO was a 5-minute opening range breakdown. I didn't like the price action at the open, based on what it was doing. But as this candle sold off, this level here, like it rejected 92.70, this candle sold off. I could have taken it right here on the VWAP, but I was still kind of shaky about taking a trade. So once I saw that the SPY had rejected going green on the day, I felt confident taking this trade, and I took it using the 5-minute opening range breakdown. So I used the low of the first 5-minute candle to gauge my entry. And it did work, pretty quickly, but then it turned around on me. This, you sold off. I got a cover here and ended up getting a cover here, but it ended up stopping me back out. And, it just didn't follow through. And as you can see, if you look at the SPY, it turned around. And I knew once it did this, that trade was pretty. Once the 9 held and the VWAP held on the SPY, I knew going short was the wrong way to go. But I did book profits on it, and I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, it wasn't a home run trade. It was a nice base hit, and I can't complain. A nice little base hit there. So the next trade I hit, ETP. This was a nice bottom reversal, and these are the ones you look for when the SPY is trending up. If you have a stock that sold off and almost had a parabolic move down, this is the one you look for a bottom reversal when the SPY is strong, because you can feel safe taking, a trade to the long side. Now, what I was looking at this when it hit the scan, I was looking at the volume building in. So we've got selling volume building in. And what this tells me that eventually all of these sellers are going to get taken out and it's going to get bought back up. Now, I was looking at this and I was waiting for this to come down to the 36.60 level. Now, excuse me, I called out in chat. I was looking at it at 37 first and then 36.60. So when this washed through 37, I felt that we were going to get 36.60, which kind of lined up perfectly because I was looking for another good selling volume bar. And I was looking for this to go down below 10. I think it had a low here of 14.4. I was looking for it to actually go down below 10 and take this because I was going to really load up on it. But when this candle opened and it started getting bought up, I switched over to the 2-minute chart. And let me show you. And the 2-minute chart is the only chart that I use. And I'm going to have to change this real quick. It's the only chart that I use other than my 5-minute chart to gauge an entry on. I don't have a regular 2-minute one, so I'm going to change this to 2 minutes for the sake of this video here. And I'm going to show you exactly what I saw to get me in this candle right here. Okay, this was still on that 5-minute candle printing green, but we were getting some buying volume coming in. This candle opened up, and once it got higher than the close of this candle, I went ahead and jumped in. And this is the only time I use a 2-minute chart to manage my trade. And the only time I look at candle formation to give me confirmation to get in. Now, this is still a little bit more risky than what I normally do. Normally I'll wait for this 5-minute candle to close here. Normally I'll wait for this candle to close and then get in on this candle. But because this was turning around and I felt 37 might be the spot, I went ahead and used that to get in. And I don't use it all the time. It really depends on the setup. This was a beautiful setup. The RSI was well below 20 like I like it. We had increase in volume during the sell-off. And, this was a nice parabolic move down. So everything about this setup was just perfect. And so I got in here at 36.99. Was going to take my first cover either here or here at 50. So I said what I'll do is I'll just split it up. I'll take a quarter here and then a quarter at 50. But this thing kind of slowed down and I thought, well, maybe it might get rejected at the 9. So I took a quarter of my position off here and then took another quarter off here at 37.50, which was, this daily level here. And then I left the last half on to get VWAP. Now, if it struggled here and it didn't push or started to struggle here at the 20, I would have covered a quarter here. But, that's just the way my plan is set up. That if I notice the stock start to have trouble at key supply areas or key supply zones, which are going to be levels of support or resistance or moving averages, then I'll take it off or I'll take some off. But I didn't have to here. took it off here at VWAP, and we still got the push. And some people ask, why did you take it all off? Why didn't leave a piece on? Well, this VWAP was my ultimate target. And sometimes we get greedy and we try to get more than what we should, and we end up losing what we had. And that happened to me a couple times, and I'm just not gonna take a chance on it. Now, this was a textbook bottom reversal. Now, the secondary move to my reversals is what I call a VWAP reset, meaning this push to VWAP. The target's always my VWAP ultimate. The VWAP is always my ultimate target on reversals. So I'll have my ultimate target there, and then I'm going to hit the reset button. And it's either going to push VWAP, test it, and hold, or push VWAP, test, and fail, or it's going to fail to push VWAP and turn around. So either way, whether it goes long or short, I can trade it for the secondary leg. I can trade it. And that's what I did here. And I called this out in chat. I explained, what the setup was, that if it pushes VWAP and it tests and it holds it, here's a push, here's where it tested VWAP and it closed back above it, which means it held. This candle I got in. I was a little bit late because I wasn't paying 100% attention, but I did get in, and I was a little bit too far away from VWAP from my entry, from where I really wanted it. So if a candle closed back below this 38 was where I said my stop was going to be, because I didn't want to hold it and let it test VWAP or anything, because it might have got me in a little bit of trouble. But that's what happens when I miss my entry a little bit. I have to, change my stop around. But the key is I had a plan. I had a plan in place, and I knew what to do if something, didn't go right. So we didn't get the strong move up like I wanted it to. It just wasn't, didn't have the momentum coming up. The volume didn't stay in like I was hoping. But I did get a cover here at 26 and got a cover here at 49, and got another cover here at 69 or 68. I can't remember. And once it lost the 9 moving average, which is my normal trailing stop, once the trade starts working, I lost the 9, and I did give it a little bit more room than I should have. It did close below the 9 here. This one opened below it and started selling. But I had to catch myself because I was about to let it continue on, but I ended up getting out here. So this was a picture perfect, a textbook bottom reversal, and a textbook VWAP reset trade that I like to make as a secondary move on my reversals. You get 2 or 3 of these a week, and they make your week. And this is why I like this time of year so good. When the market starts to come back, I find more and more of these. In the summer, you can't find them anywhere. You'll be lucky to find one every 2-3 weeks, and then you have to be lucky to find it. These you can hit 2 or 3 times a week and just really, make your week. And everything else you pile onto it is just, you're just putting a cherry on top of it. And this is, you have to have patience, and you have to have the willpower to stick to your plan. You have to kill the noise. You can't listen to anybody else. You can't read what other people are posting in chat. You have to keep focused on your trade, because somebody may say something and you think that person knows what they're talking about, and you take your trade off. and then you're like, man, I wasn't going to do it, but so and so said this. You have to silence that noise. Turn it off. If you have to cut the monitor off that has chat on it while you're in a trade, do that. I rarely look at chat when I'm in a trade. I may glance back to see if I see ED. If I don't see it, I don't read what people are posting. I just look for those two letters together. If I see it, then I'll read it and answer the question. If not, I'm focused on my trade. So you have to stay in your lane. You have to focus 100% on what you're doing. And if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. So, today was a real, good day for me. It started out slow. And that's another thing, just because the day starts out slow, don't shut everything down and walk away. You never know when a trade is going to hit. You never know when your day is going to turn around. And this turned around in the middle of lunch. Thankfully I go to lunch early. And I was here when this, trade happened. So always stay locked in and always stay, focused. Even if your day seems to be bad or things start out bad, don't form opinions, based on that. The market's open till 4. So you never know what you're going to run into. So that's it for me today. I hope everybody has a great evening, a great night, and a great morning. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow in chat.